Hello and welcome to Government Secrets, the new podcast starring Graham Elwood and Lee Camp. And I'd say we're covering in the mainstream media, and we're funnier than. So those are the things we got going for us. How you doing, Graham?
Well, we're in because they do some stuff that is
That's
hilarious. True. No, they're not intending it. It's like
the unintentional funny level of the mainstream media is like through the roof. I mean, if that were something that people rated shows on, then they would be, God, top notch. Just
it is the America's funniest home videos of journalism is what the corporate media like.
It truly is. It truly is. Well, some of my favorite are like when Brian Stelter on CNN pretends he is critiquing the media. Oh my God. I will fall on my knees laughing. He's this, for those of you who don't know Brian Stelter, he is this marshmallow nougat host of CNN's On Media show. And he sits there and says things like, but Fox News didn't reveal that, that this isn't true. And you're like, you're on CNN. Every story is like fabricated. Rachel Maddow just said there was a Russian under my bed, all right? And you're telling me that Fox News has done us wrong?
It's my funniest, the CNN ad that talks about why this is an apple. Why are we calling it an orange? Right? Like they're trying to, and I'm just like, you guys lie on a daily. Like you have been telling me that's a cucumber because you're going to tell me that you're going to cover it in oil and tell me it's a taffy apple. Like because ExxonMobil buys ad time with you. What are you talking about?
The more accurate commercial would have been, they show an apple. They say, this is a cucumber. Fox News tells you it's an orange. But here at CNN, we know it's a cucumber.
Yes, they're both lying to you in different ways.
Right.
And they want you to fight over it's an orange or a cucumber when that's what I feel like as like a truly progressive. And I even hesitate to use that term now because it's been co-opted by Liz Warren and people like that. Like I feel like I don't know. I'm more leaning towards calling myself I'm an anti-war, pro-labor, democratic socialist. I don't know what else, because if I put socialist in the title, I know the neoliberals won't come near me. They won't say it.
That's true. If you call yourself a Sandinista, I think you're right. I think they'll leave you alone.
Welcome to the Sandinista comedy of Graham Elwood and Lee Camp, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm like, and I feel like that's where we are, and you and I and Jimmy and Ron Placone and Steph Zamorano, and I mean, all of us have had conversations, on and off camera about especially in the comedy world, but even too with this journalism thing, I feel like we're called crazy people because we're like, no, that's an apple. Okay. And it's like, so you're in favor of you're supporting the cucumber lobby? No, I think.
Oh yeah, and by doing segments practically every day, trying to stop war and stop the bombing of innocent civilians, I'm like an evildoer.
Yes,
like I'm some awful, horrible foreign agent who's trying to kill people by standing up for peace on a daily basis.
Yeah, I feel like being a lefty, whatever, Sandinista, whatever you want to call us, in America, I feel like I'm living in an alcoholic home where like both my parents, like one parent is an alcoholic and the other one is a nutbag that's enabling the alcoholic. And when you call that out, and I'm not reading from my own script at all. I didn't grow up in an alcoholic home. No Irish Americans had that in their home. That's not why I'm a comedian.
Graham, we would have believed you, except that you were multiple voices speaking to yourself at once, which kind of gave it away.
Shut up, Graham. They're gonna find us. You pussy. Is that's what I feel like? Like you have, and then when you call it out, you're yelled at. Like you call out the crimes of the Democratic Party and you're a Trump supporter. And it's like, no, I don't like Trump. And when you call out the Trump crimes, you're a libtard snowflake. And it's like,
well, I remember when Trump was, remember when he started running and no one thought he would win. And so he was like doing well, but everyone assumed he would, his tax returns would come out or whatever, and it would be over. And so the mainstream media they weren't really going at him. They were kind of just enjoying the ratings boosts. They were just covering him, almost fawning on him, on a daily basis, because the ratings were so good and, isn't this great and everything. And I, on the other hand, because I don't believe in the two-party system, I wasn't like just going at the Republicans. I was going at both sides. But when I would speak of Donald Trump, I would call him the most horrible fucking things. We did segments where I grafted his head, graphically onto Hitler's body, and I called him Adolf Hitler or something like, and so I had all these things where I was just trashing him. And then when he won, all of a sudden, like shows like mine were the pro-Trump, people were calling us pro-Trump and defending Trump. And it's like, no, I was the one actually calling him things you wouldn't dare call him when he was running for office.
It was, I know. And it's so insane. And then even, the way both parties, it's crazy on both sides. Like, and again, this is not an excuse for me to try to shoehorn Epstein talk into our podcast, but
here's the thing. I will give you a warning, Graham. I actually put Epstein on the list because A, I feel like you might have some sort of seizure if we don't, and B, last week I said, okay, this podcast is not going to be all about Epstein, but literally the day after we taped, the world became all about Epstein again. And so I feel like we're going to have to give a little bit of a refresher on what's happened over the past week. But anyway, go ahead.
But my point is, like, it's like I get emails from these QAnon nut jobs who are like, they send me stuff and I'm like, QAnon is about 60 to 70% on the money. And then they say the craziest, Trump is here to rescue us from I'm like, and one of the QAnon videos that somebody sent me, like, you still think QAnon is bullshit? And it says, like, the New World Order wants to eliminate our military budget. What world are you in? Like, what ding dong Disney conspiracy is this? Like, all they want is more war. Everybody is more war. That's all they care about. And it's like,
my other favorite one that QAnon did was they love to say that the reason Trump wants to extradite Assange is to save him.
Yes.
I love that. That's like I need to stab you to get the demons out. I'm gonna save your life. Just let me stab you in the heart.
Well, we're gonna get what they're gonna do. They're gonna get Assange, and they're gonna see if he floats, if he's a witch or not, and that will determine whether he is.
Yeah. So Trump. Listen, Trump he's got it all figured out. He really does. He's got it all figured out. I mean, that's all you need to know about QAnon. It doesn't matter if they got this thing right here or this thing right there, or they happen to co-align with our beliefs on one area or whatever. All you need to know is they think Trump has it all figured out.
Yeah,
that's it. End of story.
It's so funny because they're like, the Clintons, visited Epstein's compound in New Mexico, and Hillary was on twice, and Bill was on 26 times, and you go, okay, great, yep, they're guilty, and then you go, William Barr gave Epstein his first job. Trump appointed him. Acosta gave Epstein. Here's all of them hanging out. Prince Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell, photos after photos after. Oh, that's just a conspiracy. Everybody takes pictures at parties. Like, okay. They sound just as crazy. And then the Clinton-y diehards, the still with her wingnuts, are like, they'll say, well, Bill's probably guilty. I'm like, so is she. Well. So
isn't that great to see QAnon and the Hillary wingnuts come together on something? They both believe that photos are just photos. They don't mean nothing, right?
Yeah, it's glad we should put them on their own island, and
I will say this: if there were like one mysterious photo of Hillary near Epstein or Trump near Epstein or whatever. Then I could agree. If that were it, I could agree. There are photos that are just photos. Like, I take photos with people after my shows. I don't ask, hey, are you a white supremacist taking a photo just to make me look bad? So, there someone could easily get a photo of me smiling next to a white supremacist if they just came to a comedy show and told me I had a good set. That is all that would need to happen.
Yes.
However, I think Bill Clinton was on his plane 26 times. which that's the point you kind of cross over past a photo's just a photo area.
I think by the second trip, maybe.
Yeah. A flight on someone's private jet that happens to have 13-year-old girls dressed in bikinis is just a flight on someone's jet that happens to have 13-year-old girls dressed in bikinis. You don't know. He didn't know what he was doing. He's like, sure, I'll get on this jet. Why not?
Yeah, we didn't know. We didn't know when we went to his weird creep island. We had no idea. We had no idea what was going on there when there was like a human sacrifice. You watched, especially like if you were at his island or any of his compounds, his New Mexico compound and his island both have this weird circle of stone ritual thing. Like it doesn't have like tennis courts and beach volleyball, like rich people shit would have. It has like, I love one day we'll find the head of the construction unit that came in, and he was like, yeah, so I want to take out the volleyball and put in a goat's head surrounded by stones. And, we get rid of the, what's the thing called with the pole with the volleyball tetherball? Yeah,
I was about to say the volleyball tethered to it. That's how poorly my brain's working right now. Let's remove the tetherball spike, and we'll stick like a head of something on the spike instead.
Yeah, can we get rid of the sand volleyball court and just have more of side of a blood ritual? Can we get that a chalice full of blood that we can drink in this ritual thing? Like,
do you have how you look at like different color swatches for like a carpet? Do you have one of those, but it's just different types of animal heads on spikes? Because I can't really, I don't really know what would fit best with that brand of foliage that's there. So if you just have a booklet I could flip through.
Just, you know what? Just FedEx over the animal head swatches so we can just see them and put them up next to the wall and figure out which is the best one for us. All right.
And stand there with friends and go, better like this or better like this? Better like this or better like this?
Which brings out the Luciferian stuff better? What do you think?
All right. As long as we're doing our Epstein riff, I'm going to give you another 5 minutes to get the people who only listen to this podcast. Let's say they're not watching all of your live streams, which they should. What has happened in the past week with Maxwell?
I don't know. Was there something in the news? I don't know. Did something?
Well, no. I just meant since the last time we taped, she was arrested by the FBI.
Yes.
I think the questions that are swirling are didn't the FBI claim that they've been watching her for a while, and and also isn't she in like the same? Wasn't she brought to the same New York jail? Does anyone asked whether she also is going to be suicided in the next 10 minutes? Or?
Well, there's so many questions since the last time we recorded. So literally the next day, they arrested her, right? And since that arrest, we have seen, not that I can find online, there are 0 mugshots, there are 0 paparazzi photos, which you would think a high-profile person getting arrested for a high-profile crime, we would see photos, we would see her in an orange jumpsuit, paparazzi would be all. We have seen no photos, right? One person on Twitter verified, and they live tweeted this, and I put this on my channel. Calling the New York Department. First of all, let's backtrack. You're right. She was arrested in New Hampshire, and they transferred her to the same jail.
Right.
The same jail.
Doesn't that raise some alarm bells?
No, I don't think it does at all, Lee. I think, it's going to take at least more than a year.
The same Mossad agent was waiting for her in the same cell. They hadn't even cleaned it up yet. It's still got the sheets tied together, and he's like, welcome. We're going to take much better care of you than the last guy. Yeah,
and there's the unplugged cameras just above. They haven't been able to figure those out.
And the security guard, the jail attendants are still asleep. They haven't woken up yet. They're still taking a cat nap.
Like they're just taking a 12-month-old cat nap, periodically waking up to, buy stuff online. So that's just like, it really feels like, oh, did they really even catch her? Like we haven't seen anything. There was an article that came out that was like saying, Ghislaine Maxwell has she has a friend of hers, an alleged friend, they couldn't name an actual person, a friend of Ghislaine Maxwell. So it's just more of this vagueness. And she has thumb drives that could implicate the most powerful people. And so she's in the process of negotiating that, or they're trying to get those thumb drives.
So we're very busy smashing those as we speak.
Yeah. So we're putting all those near magnets right now while we get her paper T-shirt noose ready.
Right.
So it's like, to me, it just raises all of these questions of like, did they even catch her? Is Mossad going to kill her? Or is she just like, this was all this stage theatrics to get people to go, yay, we got her, when she's, her and Epstein are hanging out, on a beach somewhere, whatever, being guarded by Mossad. I mean, I firmly believe, based on Maria Farmer, she did a lengthy interview to Whitney Webb, and she said that.
Is that a victim?
Yeah, Maria Farmer is a victim. She's an Epstein victim, and she said that Epstein was just a project manager, that Les Wexner is like the head of the North American traffic ring snake, is how she put it.
So where is he right now? Is he hiding out somewhere?
No, he's in Ohio, Lee. Just, weird that there's all this stuff coming out of Ohio.
Let's be honest, Ohio is kind of off the grid. There's not a lot going on there.
No, there's not. I mean, they haven't had running water.
Everybody in Ohio, I love you. I'm sure you get the YouTubes and the podcasts too.
Yes, we love doing tour dates there. And if you watch either one of our shows and you live in Ohio, you're well aware of what Ohio, right? So,
you know what you did. You know what goes
you know
on
what's
there.
happening right now. But yeah, I mean, it's so there. So this one guy called on Twitter, and he called and he put it on speakerphone, this automated, to see if a prisoner is in the New York prison system. And they're like, yes, we have Ghislaine Maxwell here. What are the charges? No charges have been listed. What's the bond? No bond has been lifted. What's listed? What's her release date? No release date. So my guess is she's going to either get COVID or paper T-shirt herself. And
she already apparently has COVID.
Well, that was a fake story. I thought that
was it really?
I thought that I retweeted that. Oh, they put and it was actually a parody site. Somebody pointed out to me, but
I feel like it even got covered somewhere mainstream. I think.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
but it's exactly what they would do. The parody site. It's like when you see something in the Onion and you go, "Wow, that's funny," but way too plausible, actually, in this crazy day and age. So
especially non-Onion satire sites seem to not understand that just saying something that actually could just be true is not really a joke.
Yeah,
it's just, I mean, it could be funny in certain ways, but every once in a while they'll be like, America paying the Taliban to keep fighting the Taliban, and I'm like, no, that's just a real story. You didn't change anything.
Yeah, that's Yeah, exactly. Like that's actually happening right now. We know like, they haven't done enough research to know that it's not a parody.
Right. They haven't dug down within the parody story to see whether it is happening. Yeah.
They were like, wouldn't it be funny if this happened? And it's like, I just do a cursory search. It is. It's going down. So yeah, I don't know. The Ghislaine Maxwell, I think she is either, this is all orchestrated theatrics. So, we got her and then she's going to die from COVID or slip on a bag of knives in prison or whatever.
The old bag of knives trick.
Just like, or if there is some sort of like tape release deal, here's my only, and I want to pose this to you. Sometimes I get the feeling that there are like dueling factions within like the ruling class deep state. And sometimes I feel like there's a battle, like some of this, like the battle over Trump is sort of like, well, he's costing this group of the ruling class money, but this group really likes him or whatever. And sort of like, maybe there's like we're evil ruling class monsters that profit from bombing people, but we don't sex traffic. So come on. Or they're just like, let's.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think there's absolutely incredibly rich people who, don't give a fuck if Bill Clinton goes down and Prince Andrew goes down. Like, but I think that a lot of the people that are tangentially connected to it have a lot of power right now. So, that's the question, is like, do they worry that the people she would reveal could actually do such dire harm to the American empire and the British empire and the Israeli empire, to that they don't want those people to go down simply because of the harm it would do to the empire writ large, which seems to be what's going on so far. Like that's why Acosta gave him the deal, was basically because, it wasn't necessarily to protect specifically Bill Clinton. It was because, these things coming out would hurt the empire too much.
Yeah, and Acosta was told that that Epstein had ties to intelligence, and he literally was like a CIA asset. That's what they were told. That's what, I mean, literally Acosta said that in an interview. I mean, there's a quote of him saying that. So I wonder if that's part of, I mean, it could be the CIA and Mossad are battling, and they're like, I don't know, Mossad came in and killed Epstein, and the CIA is like, hey, wait a minute, we only get to kill our assets, not you. And and they're like, all right, we're gonna capture Jolene then, if you want to play this game. Like,
I'd say one of the things that people confuse when they start looking into these conspiracies and things is they think that the ruling elite all are of one mind.
Yeah.
And, are just that they really have that big meeting inside a dark temple and decide of, every decision and are in full agreement. But in fact, they're not. There are different factions of it. But the problem is the reason so much of it goes in one direction is because there are certain things they all agree on, such as getting profit above all else, and not allowing the American empire, if we're talking about the American ruling class, to lose grasp of global dominance. So many decisions are kind of easy amongst that group because they're all going in that one direction. But when it comes to smaller details, as like, what to do with Epstein or things like that, there's not agreement. There can be many different factions working in different ways.
And again, too, I mean, just I mean, we'll just make this conclusion or assumption, if you will, that they are just greedy people that want more power. So like, oh, that other powerful faction, we need to get a little, like, there's like, we got to fight with them to get a little more power. And like, when you have like, the Rothschilds, they might be like, well, we like to profit this way from sex trafficking, and Mossad is profiting a different way from sex trafficking. And wait a minute.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is we like for our sex trafficking to be quiet, and you have put it front and center.
Yeah.
So we're going to cut you loose and keep ours on the down low. And that's why Trump is such a problem for our America Inc., is that he is part of the ruling class in that he is rich. And, even if he's in debt, he can get loans of hundreds of millions of dollars. Right. So he is rich. He is powerful in that way. He does have big connections, in even before presidency in New York real estate and things like that. So in that way, he was part of the ruling class, but he was not part of the kind of really dominant head of empires, and so they fucking kind of hate him. Right. He is like this ugly stepchild who is not intelligent in a traditional sense, and doesn't know really or seem to care how to cover up the gross deeds of the American empire, and so he's just spraying it all out there, and they. The true kind of ruling elite, it can't stand that. It's risking everything that they've built.
Yeah, it feels like rival mafia families or gangs or something like that. Like, we were all making good money, and then you idiots had to go and now the cops and the media is covering us, and so you got to go, or some mob guy like,
Trump feels like Fredo or something, like some like like singular character who was like, I know how to do it better and I'm going to take over more things, and then just shits the whole business. And they're like, you're ruining everything, you asshole.
I'm smart. I can do things. I'm not dumb like people say. I'm your kid brother, Mikey, and I was passed over. It's what Pop wanted. It's not what I wanted. Like, that's what it feels like. And now they're like, okay, let's take him out fishing on Lake Tahoe.
Yeah. So they've been inviting Trump out fishing for fucking 4 years now, and he will not go. He keeps saying the sun is too hot, or he doesn't like fishing because you have to think to yourself, and he's not good at that. And so they can't get him out on the boat.
Oh God, yeah. Somebody put in the chat, Trump is new money. Like, that might be it too. Like, oh, he made his money new. He hasn't had like 1,000 years of,
Well, it's new money, and it's also that he never really, like, Trump has never succeeded at anything. He's failed upwards his whole life. I mean, his business ventures have basically all gone under. The only real thing he succeeded at was The Apprentice, because people were like, I can't turn the channel at this train wreck.
Right.
But so even his quote unquote new money was like, he was in endless lawsuits, thousands of lawsuits. I mean, it wasn't even like stable money. He had to get massive loans from Deutsche Bank and everything. So it wasn't even like this guy's just sitting on a money empire. You know, he was a fucking train wreck, and they couldn't stop him from becoming president. They did everything they could.
Right. Yeah. All right. That's interesting. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.